Hey gang, Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day with Kit. Kit, look at me. Look at me. Hey, that's the good boy. Good look at me. I know I am having an amazing and fascinating day. Much better than the last couple, actually. We're going to get to that right after we roll the intro. But first, thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate you taking your time to watch my videos. All right, here comes the intro. And we're going to catch you on the other side and catch you up.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
What's going on, gang? Well, this is a video I was hoping I was never going to have to make, but we're going to talk today about what happens when you get injured and what are the benefits, what are the blessings, um, what might I want to do differently in the future, what kind of injury, all that kind of stuff. So, here's what happened. And I'm going to say right away, I told this story not very long ago to my friend Rob, Travels with Dottie, and he said, that's a terrible story. So let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's a terrible story or do you think it's a good story? I'm going to tell the truth because I asked him, I said, so what do you think I should say instead? He said, why? I said, yeah, I don't think so. Because I don't lie to you guys. I don't lie to myself. Well, I try not to lie to myself. Mostly I'm successful. And I think the biggest lie I've told myself lately is that I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof because obviously I'm not. Here's what happened. I'm on my way to Quartzsite. I know it's coming up on the second week in February, and everybody else is leaving Quartzsite. They're all done with the big tent and all the stuff. They're all leaving. I'm just getting there. It's been that kind of year. So I'm on my way to Quartzsite, and there was a meetup outside of Tucson that I had wanted to go to. I came here last year, and last year I wasn't able to participate in many of the activities because Kit was still very, very needy, and I couldn't leave him alone for any length of time to go do anything. And I couldn't take him with me because I was afraid he was going to bite people. So mostly I just, hung around, talked to a few people, did a lot of walking. I mean, I had a good time, but this year I was thinking, hey, the timing actually works out as I'm on my way to Quartzsite. I'll stop there for a night or two. That'll be great. And I'll be able to participate in the activities this year. Yeah, not so much as it turns out. So I got to the meetup location on Friday afternoon. I'd had a long day. I mean, I came from Lordsburg, New Mexico, and I stopped in Benson to pick up my mail. And then when I got to the southern end of Tucson, I went to Walmart and Costco and Sam's Club and Costco. Yeah, I said Costco twice because when I got to Sam's Club, there weren't any eggs. And there was another Costco at the north end of town in the direction that I was going. So I called them to find out if they had any eggs, and they did. So I went there and got eggs, and then came over to the meetup location, which is in the Ironwood National Forest. Got here about 4:30, 4:45 in the afternoon, so still plenty of daylight and all that kind of stuff. And I was scouting around for where I wanted to park, and I had picked a place, but I had actually driven past it, and I needed to turn around anyway to get my door on the correct side of my rig for the way I wanted to face. So I pulled into an area starting to turn around. It was actually close to another rig, and gal was sitting outside, and she shouts out, "Hey, you made shade for me!" And I said, "So are you saying you want me to park here?" And she said, "Yeah, that'd be fine." So I did. And so first of all, as this progresses, keep in mind, if I had been by myself, not in a group setting, this probably would not have happened. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. First, I got to tell you what happened. So I get set, run my slide out, and I'm taking my outside chair out for the first time in I don't know how long, because I don't do that when I'm just stopped for a night or I'm not around people, which has been the vast majority of the time. So I carry my chair outside, and I noticed that there was an enormous hole that was partially underneath my step and partially right in front of it. And I thought, okay, that's not a good thing. So I came back inside to get my cup of water and my keys so I could open up the compartment where I keep my shovel so I could fill in the enormous hole. And somehow, when I stepped back outside, I managed to step into the enormous hole, and the gal Sue, thank you Sue for all your help, that I was shading, said she saw the angle of my foot as as I'm going into the hole, and said, "Oh no, that's not going to be good." and I scraped that was my left foot, and I scraped up my whole right leg, so it's kind of a mess. But, here come the blessings and the bonuses of, being part of the nomad community. Sue had ice available for me right away and a washcloth to be able to wrap around it and to clean off my injured other leg that was, kind of bleeding all over the place. Bled pretty profusely, actually. Um, and it turns out she also was carrying crutches with her. So she lent me her crutches and brought me extra ice and stuff for the evening. And then Lonnie, you may know her if you follow her channel, Crafty Traveler. She's from California and travels in a Class C with her little dog Snickers. And she was parked not very far away from me. She came over and she had athletic tape and kind of taped my foot up to provide a little bit of compression as well as stabilization. And I just kept icing it all that evening. But then when I woke up yesterday morning, I was pretty sure it was broken. And so here's another, bonus thing. I've already got two angels helping me out. And then one of the organizers here, Steve, whose channel is something Desert Adventures. I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember exactly what it's called because I subscribe. Um, his wife came because they don't live that far away from where we are. His wife came and took me to the hospital. So how cool was that, right? And I'm just super, super appreciative of all of the help that I've had here. And I couldn't be more grateful, but there's more. So now I've got my own set of crutches to carry with me in case I run across somebody that, falls down and does something that requires crutches. Well, I'm going to need mine for the next probably, I don't know, 4 to 8 weeks, whatever it's going to be. So I got to say this. I went to the Northwest, I think it's Northwest General Hospital in Marana, and it was great. We walked in, there was nobody in the waiting room. The gal behind the desk that checks you in got my stuff done right away. Only waited, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes before they got me into a room. And and the nurse said, the doctor will be here as soon as she can. And I swear it wasn't more than a minute before the doctor came in and she looked at my foot and my ankle and said, well, I need to get x-rays. Well, I knew that was going to happen. And the x-ray tech came and brought a portable x-ray machine. That was cool. Doctor came back and said, yep, it's broken, got two fractures. Okay. And at first she was going to put me in a shoe, and then she came back. She said, no, I'm going to put you in a boot. I think we want to make sure that it stays really stable. And actually did a light compression bandage wrap on it as well before we put the boot on. So now I've got my set of crutches. And so here in this camp, I've had great help from Sue and great help from Lonnie, and really appreciate both of them to a great extent. Steve and his wife Oki. Oki took me to the hospital yesterday, stopped by this afternoon to check in on me and see how I was doing. And then I've been texting and talking with a bunch of my friends in Quartzsite, and everybody, of course, was making, all of the offers of whatever you need. We're happy to help, happy to help, happy to help. Well, I was texting with one friend this morning, Cheryl, Pup Camper 58. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to her channel. And I was texting back and forth with her. She has a truck and a trailer. So I said, look, if it turns out that I really don't think I can drive, because I really need to keep my leg elevated much of the time to keep the pain and the swelling down, would you be willing to bring Barb, assuming she's willing to do the driving, to me so that she can drive my rig back? And she said, yes, of course, no big deal. Well, then I was talking to Barb this morning, and she said, well, our friend Lisa has an appointment in Tucson on Monday. Why don't we see if she's willing to just bring me and then I'll just drive you back? So how cool is that? And you've seen both Barb and Lisa in videos before because I've done tours with both of them. So I'm gonna try and remember to link those things here. I actually have done a tour with Cheryl, but somehow I messed up the audio on it and never was able to get it published. And I had told her, I said, well, when I get back to Quartzsite this time, I want to redo your tour so we can get that one published. Going to be interesting to see how that's going to work for me on crutches, but we'll work it out. So we've got all of those things going on. So let's talk about some of the blessings. Left foot, not right foot, which means that within a few days I should be able to drive just fine. Um, Boot, not cast. Boot, not surgery. So this is all good stuff, right? Medicare Plan G instead of Medicare Advantage plan that I had had previously with a big copay even for hospital visits. So this entire episode at the hospital yesterday is only going to cost me the $257 Medicare Part B deductible. That's it. Pretty big bargain. I'm pretty pumped about that one. All of the Earth angels that have been looking out for me and are continuing to look out for me. And once I get back to Quartzsite, I've got all of my friends there that are going to help with Kit because I can't walk him. Now, Sue walked him this morning for me, and he was very relieved, so to speak. Um, but, you know, I can't walk him. I can stand at the door with him on a leash, and I worked really hard to train him not to go in camp. So he's having a bit of an issue with that. He needs to be out of camp to go. But the hardest thing for me at this point is being able to get up and down the steps to get in and out of the rig. So I'm trying not to do that very often. So before we get to the most important lesson from this entire experience thus far, because there's going to be more to come. Uh, let's jump back into what would I have done differently if I had been by myself? Well, if I had been by myself, I would have opened the door, seen that hole, and not decided, oh, I need to fix that. I would have decided I needed to move the rig so that it was not going to be an issue. I try really hard not to put myself in the position of being able to hurt myself unnecessarily, and that's really what I would have done under these circumstances if I had been by myself. But since I was around other people and I had created Shade for Sue and I thought it was a good place to be, that's how all this happened. And, as I said, it could have been much worse. So let's get back and talk about what else I really want to talk about. Here's the thing that's the very most important thing to say about this, and that is one of the big lessons for me and the big blessings for me is that it has given me an opportunity to be willing to accept the help that's being offered. And on the one hand, you may say that's pretty easy to do, and for many people it is. For me, it's a little more difficult. But one of the things that I have realized is that not only am I getting the blessing as the receiver, but the person who is giving the help is also getting a blessing by being able to help. Because usually that makes them feel really helpful and really useful on their own. So why not help people feel good about themselves, especially when it's a case when you can do that and it's a benefit for you and for them. So I think it's a great thing. As always, thank you so much for being here. There will be more updates on this saga as we progress. I'm going to be on crutches for I don't know how long. I'm going to be in this walking boot for probably 6 to 8 weeks. The ER doc said she wants me to see somebody for a follow up in about 4 weeks. And of course, I don't have a doctor. I don't have a doctor because I just changed medical insurance and I hadn't needed a doctor or planned to, so I thought I had plenty of time to figure that out. So I will need to find a doctor to be able to get this followed up on, and I'll work on that after I get to Quartzsite because I got all the time in the world. So there we go. I am very, very grateful for all my friends that are stepping up and taking care of me, my new friends that I've made in this location, my not new friends that are all, helping me from afar in Quartzsite and soon to be here tomorrow. So, yes, lots of gratitude, lots of blessings, and thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.